I would like to share with you some of our experiences at Mindanao State University Iligan Institute of Technology, where I have been connected since 1981. Okay, so practically all my life, my career, okay, was spent in this university. Okay, first, I would like to introduce to you our university. There are about 12 campuses of the MSU system, and MSU-Iligan Institute of Technology, or MSU-IIT, is one of those that is based in Iligan City, and supposedly it is the flagship campus in science and technology. So we have different programs that we offer, but since we have also a mixture of people, in our university, and so cultural integration is one of our main programs as well. And we are striving in terms of research and development, research excellence, going into infrastructure development, more programs and incentives so that our faculty researchers will be encouraged to do research and publish, just like what was presented a while ago. And since all of the HAIs today are into internationalization, we also have our internationalization program. I would like to share with you some of the challenges that we face. And I think we are not alone in this, especially for growing academic institutions. I was appointed or designated as Director of Research in 2004. I started, working as Director of Research the following year, 2005, until 2017. And that's about 14 years as Director of Research. These are challenges and problems that I inherited, and which I'm very thankful that through some simple innovations, we were able to surmount some of these problems. One is we do have many PhDs and master's degree holders in our faculty rank. Okay, because prior to the 1990s, we did have a very aggressive faculty development program. Okay, however, only a handful of them are active researchers, and I don't know if this is shared by other universities, but this is one of our problems. Many PhDs and master's degree holders, but very few researchers, active researchers. Then another problem and challenge is low publication output, okay, that are indexed in reputable international journals. And this would show that morale of faculty researchers is quite low. So we have to deal with this. And there is a lack of enabling policies, including financing for R&D related programs. And I see this, I have observed this when I sat as the Director of Research. And when it comes to science and technology innovations, practically, we have nil, I would say. So these are some of the challenges that we face. And as Director of Research at that time, until last year, I really felt, responsible somehow for facing, and making some solutions. Okay. PhDs and master's degree holders, low research outputs and publications are symptoms of low morale and lack of incentives. And there was a general preference of overload honorarium than handling research load. Because faculty members would say, I don't want to get into a lot of trouble. It's easier to teach and get your honorarium rather than to go into the problems of organizing a research group and then managing it and then having to do with government policies like our procurement system. Procurement system, I think that all of us researchers in the government sector are experiencing. So these are some of the problems that I inherited in 2005. I made a survey from 2004 to 2006 on ISI index publications. I will not be ashamed to say that we only had 3. So that means 2004, 2005, 2006. If we had to distribute this, only 1 ISI publication for the entire campus. For the entire campus. Okay? And that's not really good. So, first thing I did was to draft a policy on incentives, okay, for research and publication. And fortunately, which also included a monetary aspect, okay, packaged into it, we started with only 10,000 pesos, okay? For every ISI index publication, a faculty member can have 10,000 pesos. Okay, and that was 2006. So now I know UP has about 120,000. You have 85,000 to 120,000, but we started with 10,000. And in 2007, we had 7. We had 7 ISI index publications generated. So I told the top management, how about increasing the incentive from 10,000 to 20,000? Let's double it and see what would happen. And so we made an amendment to the policy. It was approved by our Board of Regents. And in 2008, we got another 8 ISI index publications. So if we accumulate that, we have 3 plus 7 plus 8. And then I said, hey, it probably is going to work. How about increasing the incentive some more? So let's give 40,000 for ISI index publications. And okay, our BOR was very supportive, and the amendment was approved. And so in 2009, we had, for 1 year, we had 17 ISI index publications generated. So it's very encouraging. And then we started to require our master's and PhD students to publish their thesis before they are accepted for graduation. Okay? They should publish in internationally refereed journals and preferably in ISI indexed or Scopus indexed journals. At first, when we had this, there was a very strong opposition, of course, from the students. They wanted to graduate on time and make it fast, but now here is a hindrance. They need to publish their thesis first before they're accepted for graduation. Okay? So, it would take time, but then finally, it has become popular among the graduate students. So in 2010, we had 23 ISI index publications generated. Now, and 2011, 52. So it's increasing. 52 ISI and Scopus index publications. And we also then had other national and local publications. Then I proposed, hey, let's make it 50,000. From 40,000 to 50,000. And said, we can get the money from our income, okay, from our income. And so it was approved by our BOR. And so this was the birth of our International Publication Award. I think you have this also at the University of the Philippines. So in 2012, we had 44 ISI and Scopus publications, plus 61 other publications. 2013, 99, 2014, 162, and it's increasing. So what I'm trying to say is, with incentives, faculty researchers will move. They will do research and they will publish, okay? Even if it's quite difficult, especially if we deal with the procurement system, okay, which is our number one problem. We also reform some of our research policies. We grant internally funded projects, okay, from our own money, from 50,000 to 500,000, and now we are even increasing it depending on the need, okay, to 750,000, less than 1 million per program or project. So we had also accepted the fact that when we define the faculty load, it would mean the following. Teaching load plus research load plus extension load, if there is an extension project with the faculty, and administrative load if the faculty has an admin load. And this would constitute the faculty load. Okay? Our full load at MSU-IIT is 18 units. So from 15 units, actually, we increase it to 18 units. But that would constitute already teaching load, research load, extension load, admin load, depending on the functions of a faculty. Okay? So we had this. And then in terms of infrastructure, I am very happy that our administration, top management is very supportive to proposals to improve our infrastructure, our R&D infrastructure. And there are two colleges that really are ahead of the rest. We have the College of Science and Mathematics, okay, which planned for the construction of a research complex, which we call Premier Research Institute of Science and Mathematics, or PRISM. And so you can find it, that building there. If you visit MSU-IIT, we would be glad to give you a tour in this building. And we are steadily, slowly but steadily accumulating equipment for research. We also have the College of Engineering and Technology. Okay? They have made modifications in their building, so there is now a left and a right wing, which house some of the research labs. We did our part in small steps in making MSU-IIT at least visible in the global academic community. Our stride towards world-class university, we can never be, I think, we can never be equal with other universities like UP. We're very far behind UP, okay? But at least we did our best in improving our standing. And we know very well, all of us in the academe and in MSU-IIT, okay, we agreed to the fact that we have a triad of functions. It's not only instruction, but research is important, extension is also important, and there is a fourth one that is added, which is production, okay, production. So, and each of this is given a certain set of criteria for performance evaluation, okay, and this is what I have been sharing in the NAST Research Upgrading and Performance Evaluation workshops with National Scientist Crews. Okay. We looked at the CHED requirements to start with because you have then both quantitative and qualitative factors that are included, and which can be a basis for us to, evaluate our performance as a university. And this has an impact for research, especially. It's a big impact on budget allocation because of what we call as a normative financing scheme, which is jointly implemented by the Commission on Higher Education and the Department of Budget and Management. I know from our talks in Mindanao that research is one of the Waterloos among HEIs in Mindanao. So just to refresh us regarding how CHED evaluate research performance. Okay, I know you know this already, but just so we talk at the same level. Okay, so for levels 1 and 2, the emphasis is more on faculty development. More MSs, more PhDs, and a little bit on the productivity. But there's a shift when we go to the higher level. Levels 3 and 4, the shift is more on output, publications, patents, okay? Of course, there's still that part on faculty development and the manpower development, but the percentages given to outputs are higher. These are good criteria as I see it, but do not truly reflect for me the true quality. Okay, because what is usually reported to CHED are numbers. How many of this, how many of that, percentage of this, percentage of that, but quality? Okay, so that's one thing that I noticed. And because these are primarily based on numerical counts, which may be more applicable for a start, but should graduate to a higher level to reflect the true quality of R&D in a university. And so performance indicators should not depend only on simple number crunching. Probably we could go further, checking on the impact. What is the impact of R&D in the community, for example, okay, or in the industry? So we did small steps towards national and international recognition. Okay, we are a member of the CHED Fairnet. You know CHED Fairnet because UP is a member of CHED Fairnet. We are also a delivering higher education institution of the CHED and DOST. So we have several DOST scholars and CHED scholars studying at MSU-IIT. We also started the first innovation hub in Mindanao. Okay, we have our technology business incubator, we have our IDEA center, we have our Fab Lab, and we have our InnoHive. InnoHive is where students, faculty, and even people from the community just get together, have some coffee, have some snacks, and then talk about possible collaborative projects. Okay? We are also a member of the ERDT Network for Engineering. Okay? And of course, the first PCHRD Tuklas Lunas Development Center was established in 2012 at MSU IIT. Okay? We probably have the highest number of CHED COEs and CODs in Mindanao. CHED Centers of Excellence and Centers of Development in Mindanao. And we are a member of the ASEAN University Network for Engineering. Okay? And more recently, we're very happy. We were included in the top 500. We're happy with that. We were ranked from 451 to 500 category of the QS. Okay, there were eight institutions in the Philippines included in the QS. Of course, nobody can beat UP. Okay, UP is the number one. Okay, and then you have the other universities in Manila, and then there is one in the Visayas and one in Mindanao. So we're happy to say that we did have, small strides, and we would like to continue working on this. In terms of science and technology innovations, we began with policies again, because we cannot move without policies backing us up. And I was one of those that framed our intellectual property rights policies in the Institute. Okay? We generated our IP manual, and we created our intellectual property unit, which is now linked to our ITSO. Okay? So, 2010, when we started suggesting or recommending to the OST to help us set up our technology business incubator 2010, or even earlier than that. I was one of those attending workshops already on TBI. Okay, so there was one that was sponsored by Invent of Germany. Okay, and then of course IPUFIL is always there. 2011, just before Sendong, I was in Manila to present our proposal. And you know, the common comments coming from the evaluators is this: hey, Franco, you still need to work on your innovation ecosystem. Work on it, because without it, your TBI will not work. Okay? At that time, of course, as a biologist, as a microbiologist, I am more familiar with the biological ecosystem. But an innovation ecosystem, okay, I said I really had to work hard and study what would be the components of an innovation ecosystem. Okay? I will share with you in a while. Then there is a need for us to strengthen our academe-industry collaboration, because we only had, at that time, we had very limited dealing with the industries. Iligan has a lot of industries, but we did not have, you know, a very strong collaboration with the industries. And of course, the fabrication lab, the Fab Lab, is a very big help to us. Okay. So, 2011 until 2016, we worked hard to develop what was required by the OST and the evaluators on our innovation ecosystem. And I was very happy that in 2016, we were able to set up, you know, this network of institutions and agencies that would be very important in sustaining our innovation ecosystem. So we launched this, our MSU-IIT Innovation Hub in 2016. So we call this Innovation Convergence. We had a celebration on this, and some high-ranking officials from the different agencies of the government came and supported. And the convergence was geared towards providing sufficient and sustainable innovation, technopreneurship, and science and technology ecosystem for the community and by the community. Okay, because we cannot really sustain our innovation ecosystem without the support from the community. So it's a community effort now that's sustaining it. Then we had our Fab Lab, thanks to DOST and DTI, which supported the establishment of our Fab Lab. I think this is the first Fab Lab in Mindanao. Okay? And I'm glad that we have also a very good manager, and we're now helping the industry, especially problems on robotic arms and others. Okay? We are accumulating equipment that would make the Fab Lab more suitable to help industries and other sectors in society with their problems, including prototyping. Okay, so our engineering students develop their own drones, okay, starting from designs using their computers, and then taking the designs to the Fab Lab and have it fabricated in the Fab Lab. Okay, even small-scale manufacturing of prototypes for Kickstarter enterprises. Okay, they come to us from the community and we help them. Okay, so we also provide training for Internet of Things and help, in robotics problems. Every year for kids, for high schoolers, we have a program called Sumo Bot Competition. Okay, students design their robots just like sumo wrestlers, and there is a match. Okay, So this is between one robot and another robot. They do wrestling, and students and even children, they get fascinated, and their interest is kindled, and they would like to go into technology, science and technology vocations. Okay, so robotics, robotic arms. Okay, smart farming partnership with our local farmers. Okay, then we have the Technology Business Incubator, the TBI, which is also now we refer to it as the Center of Innovation and Technopreneurship. And every year we do have startups, okay? And we help, it's not only for MSU IIT, it's for the community. And we're expanding our services to other parts of Mindanao, okay? Our research trusts are actually designed according to what the UST and CHED and the other line agencies want to prioritize. But we have our 5 main R&D thrust or agenda on material science, alternative energy sources, biotechnology, health and environment, natural products, and drug discovery and development. We have a very simple approach to research culture enhancement. Very simple, okay? We capacitate our people, and then when they are capacitated, we incentivize them. We give incentives, and then we evaluate, okay? If there's a need for retraining or retooling, we retrain and retool, okay, until we get the feel of it, and then internalize it. And so this is just the way we manage our R&D and to enhance research culture. Okay, so in terms of incentives, again, we have a research load equivalence from 3 units to 9 units, depending on the scope of the project. For a single project, you have 3 units, but it could also be 6 units if it really requires a lot of time, or 9 units, okay, for a program, for instance. Then the International Publication Award is in place. We are still trying to, I'm no longer the Director of Research, but our faculty members are still trying to contact me and say, can you please increase our incentive, our IPA from 50,000 to at least 70 or 80,000. So I'll do my best because I'm no longer the Director of Research, but yes, I will support that. Okay, so Research Dissemination Award for international conferences. Depending on geographical location, we give from 50,000 now up to 175,000 is a package. If you present a paper in the United States or in Europe, okay, or Australia, you get the maximum 175,000. Okay, and that's not, you don't have to liquidate it. It's an award. So, ikaw nang bahala. You spend how you spend it, okay? You get the cheapest airfare, you can save. And then when you're in the foreign country, you can stay in the cheapest place possible. Sanay naman tayo dyan, simple living. So you can save, ganyan. So 175,000 is the highest. Then, of course, we have our professorial chair lecture. Well, it's a modest 20,000, but it's good, okay? It's an incentive. So other incentives in research would be patent registration fee support. We know that you need to pay, and the university will shoulder the registration fee. And of course, assisted drafting of patent application. We do that regularly every semester. There are workshops in MSU IIT through our ITSO. And of course, an assured royalty share of 60% whenever a patent is commercialized. Okay, for whoever would be the originator. There are current challenges prior to my departure as the Director of Research last year. Current challenges that I have seen. One is on leveling up of the R&D excellence criteria. Okay, from simple numbers to how many of the publications are patented. Okay? So we may have a lot of publications in science and technology, but how many of this get their place into patents? Very challenging. Okay. And also, not only the number of PhDs, because sometimes, some of our faculty would brag, hey, we have the highest number of PhDs in Mindanao. Yes. But then, how many of these are doing research and publishing on a regular basis? How many? So this is one area that I have seen that is a new challenge. And I hope that the one who replaced me will take up this challenge. Another is, everybody has heard of Industry 4.0. We're talking about this in many fora. And what will be the effect on this on R&D? I believe that there is a big impact on Industry 4.0. Okay, what would be the types of researchers that we encourage? It would no longer be a single author, a single researcher, single discipline. I believe that it will be more collaborative and transdisciplinary in nature. Okay, transdisciplinary, which is one of the weaknesses according to our counterparts in Western countries. Asians are not very good in this. Okay, we want to have our turf. We work on that, and we don't want anybody to cross path with us. Okay, but that would be past. I think it's time for us to look forward and work together with other disciplines, okay, so that we can have a transdisciplinary researchers. And how do we manage this? So I would see the need for a manager who can manage, with a broad scope in mind, and in a transdisciplinary way. So why Industry 4.0 is so different from earlier forms, Industry 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. Okay, I know you know this, but I would like to say this again, because this Industry 4.0 is on the edge of artificial intelligence, digital ubiquity, and cyber-physical systems. It's on its way to what we call a singularity, and I think people in the in information and ICT understand singularity, that is the difference between artificial robotic intelligence and human intelligence would be already divided by a very fine line. So probably we wait for the time when robots can become self-aware, and now it becomes a science fiction movie-like phenomenon, okay? And this Industry 4.0 is projected to disrupt our way of life in still unknown magnitude, okay? The future problem, according to some technologists, would be not the lack of employment, but the shortage of skills that new kinds of jobs require. So you have Industry 4.0. Should we match this with Education 4.0? And is there a Research 4.0? So probably some of us can think about this. And then, it's not only disruptive curricular changes, but novel curricula out of the box teaching type. Okay? The ultimate goal is for our students to thrive, not only to survive, but to thrive in an anticipated, complex, futuristic world. So, what kind of researchers should we engage to harness Industry 4.0 and not become overwhelmed by it? How do we evaluate research excellence and research performance in the framework of Industry 4.0? I would say we need a quantum leap in research. Soaring behind, what lies ahead? Redefining our definition of university from knowledge generation to innovation generation, because according to Chet, university is one that generates knowledge. But then I think we need to change that. It's not only knowledge, but innovation generation. Okay? And emphasizing the 4 C's in culminating learning outcomes, okay, which is, I think, familiar to you who are into OBE. OBE. According to William Spady, he was in Cagayan de Oro just 2 weeks ago. He said, the first thing I would like you to do is to stop calling your curricula as obidized. He told us that because your curricula are not really obidized. Okay? So the ones that we thought are the signatures for OBE, according to Chad, is hindi pa. Meron pa palang kulang. And there are four things that I think and I believe are primary for us as faculty researchers and for our students to imbibe in them. One is the ability to communicate. Communication is very important. We have to be able to communicate to people outside of our discipline. How do we do that? So we have to be something, no? Then there is no more time for single work. It's collaboration and more collaboration and more collaboration. And the ability to think critically, which many students are still learning to have. Many of our students are contented on memorizing things. Okay, doing what they are told to do, never to question. But critical thinking, I think, is very important for the future. And, of course, creativity. Critical thinking is important for our students and for us to become problem solvers. But creativity is important for us to become problem finders. To be able to recognize a problem and then solve it. Thank you very much for your attention.